You know, I've been thinking, as crazy as everything is in this country right now, you know, with everything going on from LA to Washington, D.C. to Chicago, and who knows what else is going to be happening, and, you know, all this political stuff and all the stuff going on overseas, you know, with Gaza and the Ukraine and all of this craziness. Brazil. I mean, you know, I think in many ways, this is the best time for an artist. Like, who's thinking about their career right now? You know, who's thinking about, you know, placing films, you know, making horror films and placing them in different places like Amazon or HBO or whatever? Like, who's thinking about that right now? I mean, you might be thinking about that. You might be in total denial about what's going on around you, how, you know, there are so many people in this country right now who are in so much danger, like real danger, people who you know, who you probably love, who you deal with every day. And so there's a lot of stuff going on right now. And what a time to be an artist, because you don't really have to think about your career, so to speak. You know, you have to think about maybe making great art, just telling great stories. Like, you know, lately I've been thinking about, like, this might sound kind of morose and, you know, negative or whatever, but I'm thinking, like, maybe time is running out on being able to say whatever you want to say, do whatever you want to do, stand up in any way without being in danger, you know? Maybe this is the time to do the best art of your life. Maybe this is the moment to pull out all the stops, to do your best, you know, to take everything that you've accumulated, all your experience, all your gear, you know, stuff like that, and doing the best that you can right now. Because what if you can't pretty soon? What if there are restrictions on you? Imagine living in a place where there are restrictions set on what you can and can't say. It could happen. I mean, think about all of these laws that we thought were precedent that would never be overturned, Roe v. Wade, stuff like that, you know? I mean, think about that. And think about how we never imagined that it could be taken away, it could change. And we're seeing that anything can change, everything can change, you know? I mean, I'm talking about the unpredictable, the unknown, things you can't be sure of, things you can't count on. We can't count on anything right now. You don't even know who you can count on in your life. You know, who's going to step up, who's going to stand up, who's going to look out for other people, who's going to use their privilege in a way to protect others. We don't know. And so, in a weird kind of way, well, I've been working on a documentary, and I had to go to this camp. And a lot of the people in this camp, like, I don't know, they can't look at the world the way I look at the world. Let's put it that way. They don't have that kind of privilege, you know. They just can't, they got to be careful. But, you know, we all have to be careful right now. So what have I been thinking about? I've been thinking about, like the Panasonic GH6 has always been an interesting camera to me since it came out. You know, I'm not really somebody who relies upon autofocus, so everything in that camera seems so amazing to me, but most importantly, it's the image quality. It's the same reason I'm interested in the S1H. It's all about the image quality for me. You know, it's like, I know that I could take any of these cameras and use them, and, you know, the workflow will be pretty much the same for me, because I'm not interested in autofocus. It's not that I'm not interested in it, but it doesn't really make a difference to me. I'm much more interested in the final product, what it looks like. As long as I know I could put a lens on it and choose the lenses that I want. I mean, the S1H is really interesting to me because it's got a optical low-pass filter. That's really interesting to me. It can eliminate moire. I experienced some moire the other day shooting on the side of a building in Newburgh, New York, and like the bricks were perfect squares, and it was kind of far away, and it kind of acted like, you know, like clothing, like linen. It was really weird. And I just thought, damn, I wish I had an optical low-pass filter. So the S1H, always interesting to me. But the GH6, it's got so much packed into it. It's got incredible stabilization. Micro Four Thirds, probably the best way to shoot anamorphic. It's just interesting to me. It's so cheap now. I mean, I'm in love with my S5. I love the way it looks. I'm messing with an anamorphic lens right now. I'm shooting with a Series 75mm f1.8, 1.33 squeeze factor anamorphic lens. I'm pretty far, probably 10, 12 feet from the camera, and I'm just experimenting. I'm shooting anamorphic all the time, just getting used to it, making it second nature, because I want to shoot this film that I'm working on with my anamorphic lenses. And I don't know, like with everything going on around me in the world right now, with being worried about my friends, people who I love, it's given me a sense of urgency. It's given me some energy to work even harder and faster to get things done, to complete any project that I'm working on right now, because honestly, I don't know what it's going to look like moving forward. I don't know. And I know a lot of people watching this are going to think I'm crazy for saying this, but I'm just telling you how I feel. Okay? That's how I feel. Like, I feel uneasy. I feel, pretty angry sometimes. Call me crazy, but I'm used to when a court says something is illegal, that the person doing that stops. But that doesn't seem to be what's happening in this country right now. There's a lot of stuff happening that is like against the Constitution. The Constitution, the fabric of our democracy, like, I don't know, there's a lot going on, right? And so I'm just like, I just want to make art. I just want to tell stories. I want to document things. I want to be kind of a historian, I guess. Museums being shut down, cultural institutions being changed dramatically. I don't want to get into the specifics of all that stuff, because I really don't want to get into a political discussion, but I'm talking about a creative discussion where I guess when things are kind of getting uprooted and shifting, and when things just seem uncertain, I know for myself as an artist, I feel an energy. I feel like I don't even want to sleep. I just want to work. I just want to write. I just want to shoot. I just want to get on stage. Like, I just have this real kind of anxiety about it, where I just want to do stuff, because I'm afraid that I might not be able to do it unencumbered moving forward. And honestly, I've always kind of had feelings like this anyway. Like, when I be working on a play, let's say, and I work on it for a couple of years, and it's finally going to open in a beautiful theater, and people are coming, and it's sold out, and all this kind of stuff, I'm afraid to fly. I'm afraid to do much of anything, because I don't want anything to happen. I just want to get there. I want to get to opening night. I want to get on stage. I want to make it happen. And I don't want anything to happen in between to derail me from using all the work that I've done to get to that point. And I'm kind of feeling the same way about my filmmaking right now, this documentary I'm working on, another film I'm working on. Like, I just want to, like, I feel energized. I feel this angst. I feel kind of impatient. Like, I need people to give me stuff to get this done. I want them to give it to me now, so I could just work on it. I don't want to have to rely upon anybody else. I don't want to have to rely upon time. I don't want to have to rely upon, what's going on in the world. I just want to be able to do it. I'm scared. And when I'm scared, I've noticed in my life, when I'm uncomfortable, when I'm depressed, when I'm experiencing, like, I don't know what to call it, like confusion, that's when I do my best work. That's when the best art has always come out of me, when I've been in pain, when I've been like, when I just don't know anything, when I feel like I'm floating around, my feet are not firmly planted on the ground. That's when my toes are 10 down. Like, and I know that sounds weird and it's a fucked up metaphor. It doesn't make any sense. But I think if you're an artist, and I think if you can relate to anything that I'm saying, I think you can relate to this. Like, I just, with all this going on. And I don't think anybody can dispute that there's a lot of crazy shit going on right now. I just want to make art. I just want to work. I want to do the best work that I've ever done in my life. You know, I want to dive all the way in. I want to just immerse myself in the creative process. I don't really want to think about anything else. You know, I don't really care about much of anything else other than the people in my life. You know, like I want to love. I want to let the people know how I feel about them who are in my life. You know, I want to spend as much time with people as I can. I want to make the effort to do things like that. I want to connect with people. I want to reconnect with people that I've disconnected from in certain cases, and in other cases, I'm happy with the cord just being cut. You know, I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like in a way, I mean, I know this sounds crazy, but in a way it's kind of good, you know, because even in the best of times, for so many people who I have loved deeply, the world and this country, they have been fucked up for them. It hasn't been good, but I don't think anybody wants this kind of change. Like what's happening right now, I can't imagine how anybody would be okay with that if you really know what's going on. You know, I saw a video today of a 17-year-old girl from Los Angeles, track star in her high school, senior in high school. I think she was originally from Guatemala. She was born there, but has lived here her whole life. Came here right after she was born with her mother, who fled because somebody was trying to kill her in that country. Anyway, recently these two women, the mother and the daughter, were deported back to Guatemala. And this little girl was able to do an interview with somebody and said she basically hasn't left the place that they're staying in down there at all since they got there because she's afraid to go out in the street. I guess there's a lot of violence around and she's afraid, and with her mother experienced in the past. But I mean, just imagine being a senior in high school. You're on the cross-country team, you're on the track team, you're getting ready to go to the prom. And suddenly you're snatched up and thrown on a plane and sent to a place that you don't know she didn't even speak Spanish. Please imagine that. Imagine what that might feel like. That's crazy. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. And all I want to do is make art. I just want to create. I've been watching GH6 videos lately. And I'm not going to buy one. You know, I have a GH5 and I'm using the S5 for my film. And I very well might buy one anamorphic lens for my Micro Four Thirds so that I can shoot the whole thing with the anamorphic lenses, and then I could use the GH5. And I ain't worried about matching the GH5 with the S5. I know I could do that. I'm not worried about it. I mean, I wish I could have more of the same camera, obviously, because that would be easier, but I'm not worried about it. As a matter of fact, I'm incredibly blessed. I'm so fortunate to have two amazing cameras like the Panasonic S5 and the Panasonic GH5 and 3 series anamorphic lenses and all my vintage lenses. I'm like so privileged. I'm so lucky. So I can't complain about that. I don't know. Maybe the GH6 is just, you know, I'm like, it just is, I don't know. It's like really interesting to me. You know, it's something that's kind of caught my attention from the minute it came out, and I'm not worried about the streaking or anything like that. I don't know. It just sounds like an incredible camera, but I'm not going to buy it. But I've been watching those videos because I can't watch the news every day. I just can't do it. You know, I can't. I'm trying to pay attention. I'm trying to be responsible. I don't want to put my head in the sand. I don't want to just, you know, like shut myself down with regards to being a responsible citizen in our society, being a collaborative, contributing person. But I just can't do it every day. I can't. It was making me sick. I can't do it. So I'm trying to think of things that I can do to contribute, and I know the best way that I can contribute is by making art, telling stories, bringing these stories to life, creating characters that everybody can relate to. You know, my dream is to bring everybody together in a theater to either watch a movie or see a play. Everybody along the political spectrum, the religious spectrum, the gender spectrum, the sexual preference spectrum, all of that kind of stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying. Like, my dream is always to bring everybody into a space and to somehow create something that everybody enjoys, everybody feels. Everybody can relate to the characters that I create. Everybody sees a piece of themselves in all the characters that I create. Something about them resonates with all of these people that I created. This fictional, person somehow reminds them of them, or their mother, or their sister, or their brother, or their girlfriend, or their wife, or their grandmother, or whatever. That's my dream, that we all sit in that theater and laugh together and cry together and feel together, and then we discuss it together and do a Q&A, and all of a sudden people who never speak, people who have come to hate each other, people who have come to be afraid of one another are having this common experience, this beautiful shared experience, and that is great art to me. That's what it's about. That's what I care about. That's what I can do. That's what I know how to do. I've done it over and over again. That's what I want to do. I ain't thinking about HBO, Showtime, Amazon. Like, I'm not even thinking about any of that. I mean, I'm certainly thinking about making money and being responsible and paying my bills, but I'm not thinking about my career. I'm thinking about you and me and us. I'm thinking about making art, creating opportunities that are accessible to everybody, to be able to see the work, to receive the work, to share it, like creating something that everybody can go to that's not so hard for them to get to, painful for them to pay for. I just want to create something to bring people together that elevates our empathy, that, kind of, builds our spirit, gives us optimism, gives us hope, gives us, fills us with love for ourselves, but love for one another. That's the kind of work I want to do. And I just feel anxious, like I got to do it now. And hopefully I'll be able to do it for the next 50 years, 20 years, 70 years, 10, however long I get. I want to be able to do it till I pass. But no moment is promised to anybody. Nothing is to be taken for granted. Not a millisecond. So I say to you, like me, think about cameras. Think about the GH7. Think about the S1 Mark II. Think about the new Nikon. Think about this Canon camera that's coming out allegedly. Like, think about all of it. Think about it. But I urge you to tell your stories now. Use what you have, whether it's a phone or a Sony a6400 or a Canon M50 or a FX3 or an FX7 or whatever, like FS7, like whatever you have. Do something with it. I don't think there is an FX7, but you know what I'm saying. Do something, Like, you might even have an Arri Alexa. If you got a Blackmagic 6K Pro, like whatever you have, whether it's expensive or cheap or whatever, and, watch the videos and dream big and dream about what you want and try to figure out the kit that works for you. That's all cool. But while you're doing that, write a script. Make a movie, tell a story, create characters, build a performance, build a screening, create, contact theaters, contact art galleries, contact libraries, contact, real estate people who own abandoned buildings, like create theaters everywhere and have people come in and be together. I'm urging you to do that. I'm doing that. It's the only thing I know how to do, I'm not good at anything else, I'm just not. I'm good at running. I'm a good athlete. I don't know. I'm not really good at anything else other than making art, but I'm pretty good at that. I'm doing a lot of photography right now too, but I'm doing it with a lot of intention, with purpose, with story, with, like I'm shooting a lot of old buildings, buildings that are gone, buildings that are deaded, like they've been abandoned obviously for a while, because I'm thinking about who was in there, what happened there, how did this get to this point, what was it like when it was thriving, when it was new, and you know, people had these hopes and dreams when they first moved in, when they first opened a business, whatever it was. I think about that. And that's what I see when I shoot. Or I'm shooting a lot like in the Hudson River, you know, from bridges. And I'm thinking about bridges, how they bring people together, how they bring, you know, bodies of land together over water, how they look so beautiful in the fog, you know, like looking up the Hudson River, and it just looks like wonder, you know. It just looks like complete opportunity. It looks like adventure and dreams, and it's just beautiful, looking up, looking down towards New York City, looking up towards Canada. I have so much optimism in my body. But I'm afraid right now. I'll admit it. I'm scared. I'm concerned. But I'm going to do what I do best. And you know what? I urge you to do the same thing, because you just never know. None of us do. None of us know anything. You think you know. I know a lot of people think they know. Like sometimes people break it down to me, what's happening in the world, in the government, you know, world leaders, stuff like that, like they know, you know. Somebody who, like, you know, is in my community, they know. Nobody else knows, but they know. Like, that drives me a little crazy, because you don't know. You don't. There's a select few of people who know. However, there are so many more of us who don't know than there are of those who do know. And if we all do our part, if we all contribute, everybody, every single person, if none of us check out, if all of us stay engaged, I just feel like there's great power in that. It makes me feel optimistic. I don't know if anything can be done. I don't know. But it does make me feel good to think that everybody is doing what they do best with the intention of making things better, making people happier, safer, healthier, more feeling more included, feeling more welcome. Everybody. That's why I made this video tonight. I didn't think I was going to make a video again for like a month. I got so much shit to do. But I thought, you know what? This is worth making. And so I'm going to do it. So I'll post it in a few days probably. I don't have time tonight. It's nighttime right now. It's about 10 or 11 o'clock at night. I had my anamorphic lens on. This was totally inconvenient to do it this way. You know, it's like far away, manual focus, you know, but I did it because it's great practice. And I can apply it to my work, because every day of practice makes me a little bit better. Working on my coloring. I know a lot of people might not like the colors that I use, but I do it on purpose. I like it. I'm doing it for a reason, for my film. So I love the way it looks. I love the lighting, all of it. I'm grateful to have it. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to work on it. So anyway, let me stop now. I'm going a little bit too far off on a tangent. I urge you to do something, please. I need you. We need you. You need me. We need each other. All of us, everybody, no matter what you believe in, no matter who you listen to, no matter who you watch, we need each other. We do. And art, more than anything, is the only thing that we can all have in common. Everybody likes the movies. Everybody likes the theater. Everybody likes music. Everybody. Not everybody likes politics. Not everybody likes education, teachers, things like that. Not everybody likes activists screaming at you. But everybody likes the movies. Everybody likes theater. Like, everybody likes art. So do something. Bring people together, please. All right? That's all I got to say about all of that.